Hello, guys. I'm Sarah, and welcome back to TLC's Next Updates, your home for all the jaw-dropping drama of sister wives and more. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that thumb up if you're ready to solve some seriously bizarre details from the Brown family. Let's discuss something that is leaving fans both bewildered and amused. Cody Brown's strange love letters to Robyn on their mirrors. That's right, mirrors. And believe me, this tale gets even stranger as we delve deeper. If you've ever wondered what it's like to walk through Cody and Robyn Brown's house, get ready to be amazed. Or perhaps a little repulsed. From their wacky Flintstone-style bathroom sink to a royal purple bedroom directly out of medieval times, their home is a daring combination of excess and bewilderment. But the strangest thing of all? The love notes Cody scrawls across their mirrors. These personal written statements aren't mere sticky notes. They're epic, scroll-like declarations of love that Reddit people can't get enough of. One of the viral photos featured a note where Cody had written, "I love your guts." That is correct. Not your smile, not your heart, your guts. Romantic or cringe? Share with us in the comments. But wait, it gets even stranger. Picture Robyn in front of her gilded mirror, wrapping up her curls, and softly wondering to herself, is this enough? Her reflection does not merely reflect her looks, but the burden of attempting to live up to Cody's notion of perfection, one he has freely confessed to favoring. A favoring so exact, it's been likened to an American Girl doll collection. These missives, which started out as sweet gestures, have generated online outrage, with followers blasting them as excessive and simply awkward. Another Reddit user even called the entire ordeal gross, wondering if this is real love or another acting job in the Cody and Robyn show. So why is Cody actually writing these notes? Are they genuine, or are they merely another token of the odd, fabricated passion that has driven the couple's now monogamous relationship? Robyn, Cody's sole wife today, has absorbed the stresses previously shared among the remainder of the sister wives. She seems calm, but a great deal is occurring beneath that immaculately polished exterior. Viewers have pointed out that even while on a camping trip, Robyn clandestinely slips away to do her makeup, an indicator that the need to be perfect never truly abates. Perfection has a price. Maintaining this painstakingly built facade isn't merely a matter of personal preference. It's an act that appears directed toward meeting Cody's extremely particular standards. He's doted on Robyn with praise, calling her a soccer mom one time and likening her to the face of Diesel jeans. And yeah, he did sound a tad too pleased about it, but things get cloudy here. Cody insists he won't marry another wife because it would create too much conflict, but others aren't buying it. Is it possible that inwardly, he's still got the hankering for polygamy? That he's toying with the notion of a throuple, a three-way with Robyn in the middle? It's there that the tension begins to build. Robyn, for her part, has allegedly pushed back as well. She does not want another wife in the equation. She's complained that Cody is difficult to live with, that his mood swings have wrecked their relationship. Some say she feels he's actively destroying what they have left. And then, of course, there are the mirror notes once more. These handwritten love notes may appear nice, a romantic flourish from a man who is head over heels. "I love you, Kay," states one of the more straightforward messages, lovingly circled with a heart. But is it true love? Or an attempt to distract from a relationship that's in trouble behind the scenes? Sure, these cards appear sincere. But are they true displays of affection? Or clutching attempts at maintaining a failing dynamic? One thing is for sure. While Cody spends all his energy wooing Robyn with lipstick-scrawled declarations, he wasn't as excited when his ex-wives, Christine, Janelle, and Mary, were leaving. Actually, lots of fans commented on how unbothered he appeared. And that only raises more questions about where his real feelings are. What's actually happening behind the mirror messages? And is this romance as ideal as Cody wants us to think? Stick with us, because the next part of our special explains the drama that ensued after the exits of the other wives, and how it transformed Cody and Robyn's relationship forever. Oddly enough, Cody didn't seem thrilled after the dust settled, and he was finally left with Robyn, the woman he once called his dream wife. You'd expect fireworks, right? A fairy tale ending? Prince Charming twirling Cinderella at the ball? Instead, viewers saw a man who appeared irritable, cranky, and strangely bitter. Why the bad attitude, Cody? You received what you wanted. At least, what you claimed to want. The other wives had already departed before the untimely death of Garrison, so sorrow alone doesn't account for it. If Robyn is really his soulmate, his perfect woman, shouldn't he be floating on air, not pouting in a fantasy palace? And speaking of that palace, it's a beauty to see. With its thematically dramatic decor and fairy tale atmosphere, it almost resembles a set for a royal couple. But beneath the splendor, there is another question. Is monogamy actually doing it for Cody? Here's the surprise twist. Now that he's down to one wife, he doesn't have the security blanket of complaining about his issues with the other three. When he was residing with Mary, Christine, and Janelle, Cody frequently dodged accountability, depicting them as dramatic, unreasonable, or emotionally needy. He even called them sarcastically princesses, which suggested they were entitled or demanding. But let's be real. Addressing a woman as a princess does not make you a king. As a matter of fact, the more one puts down their partner in order to feel superior, the more the relationship is headed for destruction. Love doesn't grow in superiority. It endures through mutual respect, compassion, and equilibrium. And in that department, Cody apparently fell short. Ironically, the women that he had disparaged have thrived since leaving. Mary, Janelle, and Christine each have undergone what fans are dubbing glow-ups. And it's not just physical. Emotionally, they've done it too. It's like seeing old paintings refurbished to their former glory, regaining their glow after years of being dulled. They've learned to be independent, assertive, and, yes, a little glamorous. Perhaps, just perhaps. They weren't the issue all along. Perhaps things were not so bad after all. But the question still stands. Is Cody's alleged pleasure palace a contented home, or merely an illusion sustained by wishes and lofty aspirations? Surrounded by indulgences, Cody and Robyn reside among lavish markers of success. But is all the money truly leading to happiness? Outside, it's almost as if Cody is attempting to create some fantasy existence for Robyn, one not dissimilar from the over-the-top Xanadu mansion in Citizen Kane. As Reddit commenter Mindful Tatayur Goat Nugget noted, photos of their house reveal just how ostentatious their interior has gotten. Is all of this Robyn's work? Perhaps. She is Cody's so-called rosebud, his own treasured possession, the one thing that pulls on his heartstrings. Regardless of the ups and downs in their relationship, Cody obviously places Robyn in a different league. She's his treasure, his emotional anchor. It's near impossible now to envision Cody without her. It shows in their house, dramatic rock sinks, sparkly David Yurman accessories, Cody's Star Wars action figure collection, and even Robyn's beloved American Girl dolls. Describing their house as whimsical doesn't really begin to cover it. It's more like entering a meticulously curated fantasy, or perhaps a diversion. If Cody's love is as genuine as his decor is extravagant, then bravo. But what if this is not his dream at all? What if monogamy never made it onto his wish list, but Robyn's, and he's just going along with it? There's always more happening behind closed doors. Nobody shares all of themselves, and in a family constructed of public spectacle and private silence, secrets become louder than words. As much as they try to scale back, selling off Coyote Pass, for example, Cody and Robyn's lives are anything but picture perfect. Even those sincere mirror messages can't cover up the increasing cracks in the foundation. And then there's Janelle. Generally considered the most down-to-earth of Cody's previous wives, she too has been criticized. From an $82,000 trailer to dubious financial decisions, both before and after the breakup. And yet, somehow, she is still being perceived as the straight shooter amidst the frenzy. Money has never been Cody's strong suit. With all the wives, children, and homes to juggle, his inability to maintain financial control only became more troublesome with time. And even today, since the divorce, the problems have not abated. Cody Brown, at the peak of his polygamous life, was coping with 4 wives and a total of 18 children. The economic burden was tremendous, almost impossible for most to wrap their heads around. Just to keep the family afloat, Cody and some of his wives had to work full-time jobs. Still, even with stable work, it wasn't enough. The Browns were constantly on the lookout for side businesses and new ventures in an effort to make ends meet. From selling jewelry to starting wellness brands, everything was on the table. And through all this work and spending, gripes still flew, particularly from Janelle. Her choice to downsize into an $82,000 mobile home was universally criticized. But to Janelle, it was a question of practicality, not extravagance. Once they moved to Arizona, the Browns embarked on a grand vision to stake their future on a big piece of land in Coyote Pass. The dream? They would have their own section of the property, with the hope that their kids would eventually construct homes there as well. They even dreamed of being off the grid, providing their own sustenance, raising their children in a tight-knit compound. That dream never materialized. Before a single foundation was set, the Brown family structure was falling apart. The relationships were ruined, and so was the vision. Nevertheless, for a while, some members, such as Janelle, attempted to make it work. As season 17 of Sister Wives progressed, Janelle had rented a house in Arizona. But once money got tighter, she couldn't continue paying high rents, and she couldn't even afford to buy a house. With the Coyote Pass land lying vacant and the future unknown, she did the unthinkable. She and her youngest child, Savannah, moved into an RV on the very land they had once envisioned building on. It wasn't luxury, but it was hers. Janelle invested $82,000 in a luxury camper and opted to walk the simplicity road of RV living. Rather than viewing it as a step backward, she referred to it as an adventure, an opportunity to regain her independence and learn to go with whatever comes her way. With Savannah in tow, she rolled up her sleeves and faced the challenge with the resourcefulness that has earned her a fan base. Whereas Janelle enjoyed the simplicity and hardship of RV life, Cody, not so much. A creature of urban convenience and indoor plumbing luxuries, Cody was appalled by RV living. No way. This country life was not for him. Ironically, it would have cost him less money to simply rent an apartment down the street. But convenience was not his concern. Comfort was. While Janelle's future was already focused on a distant horizon, far removed from Coyote Pass, she spent $289,000 on a sprawling 156-acre estate in the small town of Chocowinity, North Carolina, a remote area that has only 800 inhabitants. According to In Touch Weekly, the land isn't a retreat, it's Janelle's destiny. It's where she envisions creating a home and starting a flower farm that will, hopefully, keep her financially and emotionally stable. And she doesn't have to do it by herself. Her daughter, Madison Brush, affectionately called Maddie, also intends to construct a home there too. Her husband and the 3 young children. While Maddie has very little contact with her father, Cody, her relationship with Janelle has never wavered, but things become complicated with money involved. During season 19 of Sister Wives, Janelle spoke about the financial stress she's endured. While she herself made some questionable decisions, she also pointed fingers at Cody and Robyn and said that they owe her money. She insists she financially contributed when Robyn was in need, something that wasn't exactly welcomed with open arms. How do you even figure something like that? She demanded, obviously frustrated. How do you put a value on everything I've provided? It was a raw, cringe-worthy moment, one that framed the essence of tension behind the breakdown of the family. Money, loyalty, and failed commitments. Janelle's flower farm is more than a business. It's her independence statement. A clean break from Cody's definition of family, of joint bank accounts and deferred dreams. She's making a future for herself. One seed, 1 acre at a time. One of the largest bones of contention for Janelle during season 19 wasn't emotional deception. It was monetary. She shared that when Robyn had to get assistance to buy her house, Janelle paid part of the down payment. But when the situation was reversed, and she needed assistance to buy a house of her own, no assistance was given. No call. No money. Nothing. Janelle felt that Cody and Robyn owed her, or at least should recognize the help she provided to them in their moment of need. To her, it was easy. She assisted when others would not, and when she needed assistance, she was greeted by silence. But Robyn felt differently. In a confession in season 19, Robyn contested Janelle's allegations, revealing that money was handled by the family as a whole, as a unit. When Janelle brings up the point of how Cody and I owe her something, Robyn explained, I'm like, how do you even have a calculation for that? It's very confusing. Nevertheless, to Janelle, disappointment was deep-seated. she had stood by a system no longer backing her. Now, after the split, she's swinging for the fences to rebuild her life, but not without danger. Buying a huge tract of unimproved land in North Carolina was a risk. But creating a company from scratch on top of that? Even riskier, particularly since launching a business is sometimes a roll of the dice, with most startups failing within their first couple of years. And Janelle hasn't left herself a great deal of a safety net. She's invested a significant chunk of her savings in the land, the house to come, and her Goldflower farm. She's betting on herself. And while that is admirable, it's also risky. But there's good news. The Browns just sold their Coyote Pass property. The same land once stood for togetherness, now a throwback. And the transaction yielded a fat profit. Janelle allegedly got a significant chunk, one that could give her the fiscal room to breathe she so badly needs. Perhaps it's not so bad after all. Perhaps, this new chapter will bring stability and tranquility to Janelle that she's been seeking, away from the chaos, control, and conflict of her previous life. Janelle may not have always made flawless financial choices, but one thing's certain, it's never too late to begin anew. And now, with her new entrepreneurial venture in full force, she's penning a brand new chapter. For almost a decade, the Sister Wives family, whose unconventional lifestyle has become a hallmark of their fame, held dear a dream that was at once brazen and hopeful. Their dream? To create a single homestead where several families could coexist in harmony. This dream was about a secluded parcel of land folded into the stunning mountains outside Flagstaff, Arizona. Barely more than 5 acres of raw splendor, somewhere they thought could represent their values of faith, family, and acceptance. But as we have learned, dreams don't always play out as we wish. What had been a symbol of oneness gradually became a cause of separation. Emotional divides, legal battles, and profound individual transformations broke the bond of the family. The property, which was their haven, turned into an emblem of all that they could no longer keep together. And now, it's legally gone. Sold, closed, the last nail in the coffin of a once great dream. This transaction represents the culmination of more than the demise of a property transaction. It's the demise of an era. The common vision that once seemed so full of promise has finally disintegrated. A vision constructed on love and ambition, taken down by time and tension. Cody had once dreamed this land into place as the foundation of a great legacy. A community where his wives and kids could flourish, grow, and care for each other. The idea was to subdivide the land into separate plots, and each wife would own her share. Collectively, they'd live out a mix of contemporary life and familial values, a way of life that was as deliberate as it was intimate. But with the relationships broken, so too was the foundation for that dream. So what does all this leave everyone now? Janelle has gone on, taking chances and forging a future of her own. The other wives, likewise, are reaching for their freedom, burning brighter after separation than they ever did under one roof. Cody and Robyn are still together, living amidst luxury, but in solitude away from the family that once existed. Selling Coyote Pass is about more than a property deal. It's a reminder that regardless of the careful planning of a future, it's the resilience of the relationships, and not the land or the vision, that ultimately dictates its perpetuation. A tiny sliver of land had even been reserved for the patriarch himself, not for constructing a massive mansion for the whole family, but as a gesture. It was the ideal. Proximity in body, and yet freedom of soul. Each wife would have a place of her own haven, and yet still be part of something larger than herself. The vision initially promised well. The women felt hopeful about constructing their houses alongside each other. They welcomed the prospect of privacy and closeness, a harmonious mix of solitude and togetherness. With kids raised together under the same blue sky and in the same earth, it appeared to be just the right setting to develop bonding, tradition, and affection. The expansive mountain scenery, open horizon, and virgin soil made it seem as though heaven had reserved a piece of land specifically for them. But then, the cracks emerged. Time has the ability to test even the best ideas. Gradually, reality set in to overshadow idealism. The drudgery of everyday life and the intricacies of polygamy eroded the foundation on which they had built their life. Wife by wife, They started questioning everything: their roles, their happiness, and if the vision that at one time seemed so compelling still met their changing needs. And then it happened. The first wife, after all those years of fighting, made the painful choice to leave. She did it more than just on a personal level. She did it symbolically. It was the start of the end of the dream. She took their youngest kid and moved to a new state, opting for a simpler, more traditional existence. One husband, one house, new beginning. Her leaving wasn't merely a matter of changing addresses. It was a turning away from the existence she had once held so fervently to. There had been a moment when she had stood on that ground and declared the mountain breeze gave her the sense of hearing heaven's voices. But it faded by the time she departed. The dream that once seemed heavenly now rested still, like an echo drifting away from the moment. Her epiphany was certain. The dream no longer fit into her reality. Ultimately, she relinquished her claim to the property, selling it back to the family patriarch in exchange for a modest payment. This move severed both her legal and emotional ties to the land, ending a big part of the family's collective past. But that fixed nothing. What was left of the land was a cause of tension. The patriarch and his new wife held half the land, and the other two women held small pieces. The women began to argue. One woman complained of not being included in important decisions. She explained how a lack of communication made her feel helpless and lost. To her, the land was not mere property. It stood for stability, a future for her children, and a place where she could mend her wounds after all the family drama. She wanted to construct a home on the land in memory of her deceased son, and as a place where her other children would grow. But as tensions escalated, she started thinking of taking legal action to secure her share. Legal professionals were consulted. She even pushed one of the other co-owners to follow suit. The common vision that united the family before had disintegrated. What began as a dream of oneness turned into a legal battle and an emotional nightmare. After decades of worry, fighting, and shattered hopes, the family eventually relinquished the property. The sale generated much more than they initially invested, making a long-standing source of anxiety into a moneymaker. Although the emotional price was steep, the profit earned provided a tiny relief. The fantasy of constructing a joint family estate was ended officially. Something that had represented unity and promise was now a reminder of separation and transformation. The sale ended a chapter that began with grand ideas, but resulted in the fact that the family had grown apart. Everyone has moved on since. The one who departed first has adopted a more conventional life, moving into a new marriage and constructing another type of future. Her path symbolizes both individual development and a departure from the family's established pattern. The other two have moved on as well. They're building separate futures for themselves now, recuperating from previous traumas, and establishing new aspirations for themselves and their children. As for the patriarch of the family, he sticks with the last remaining wife, in a union that is quite different from their previous one with the rest. The remaining wife and patriarch of the family still live together, but the common goals that they previously used to inform their plans no longer exist. Their lives now are more private and independent, no longer founded on togetherness with others. Much as their land once was, their tale has changed. What began as a symbol of family, love, and unity is now a reminder of the way things are now different. Building a shared homestead was a dream full of optimism, but also based on pragmatism. It was their attempt to remain close to each other as one big, odd family. But the reality was much tougher. Shifting relationships, varying values, legal issues, and emotional battles revealed that it was not so easy to maintain that dream. Ultimately, the very ground that was intended to unite them became a reminder of how far they had drifted apart. It became a reflection of the emotional distance created over the years. Yet, the memory of that dream, all its promise, its struggle, its heartache, will be a part of each individual's experience. The sale of the home formally brings that chapter to a close, but it also serves as a reminder of something more profound. Home is not a location. It's the ones we hold dear, the bonds we strengthen, and the memories we create, wherever life may lead us. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates and stories. Till the next video.